Young Junk!
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, we are going to be reviewing Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux Mission as we dip into the year of 1974 for what many consider a certifiable film classic.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there are some who would say it is a film that is decidedly of its time. Vincent and I will be the judge as we sit down to review Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. We're going to whip it out.
Tonight, here on the Micheaux Mission, brought to you streaming live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to Facebook and as well to YouTube, where each and every one of you are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
We have a very special show for you tonight as well, because tonight, Vincent will not only be playing the top 5 and 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, but I too will be taking part in the top 5 and helping Vince with 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, because we have no idea what the segments are going to be tonight. It's going to be presented by our good friend and associate producer from Los Angeles, Mo Poplar is in the studio.
In the building.
He is in the building, and he has the top 5. He has the 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, and he has announced, Vincent, that you will need my help for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. Well, I have no idea from whence he is digging in his actor bag for this.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I hope so. That is all ahead for you tonight. We've got a thick show for you, so we're going to jump right into it with your emails, or as we like to call them,
missives from the missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
We have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Mrs. from the Missionaries, Vincent, I have an email from Nicholas.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Greetings, fellas. Long time no see. I have been going through a mental battle with some days not being good as the other. Oh. But all in all, I am doing okay today, so I am very thankful.
We are thankful as well. Glad to hear that, Nick.
Indeed. To lift my spirits, I decided to rewatch State Property, starring Beanie Siegel and basically the entire Rockefeller roster of the early 2000s. That's what you do to lift your spirits, hey, Nick?
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works.
I know the movie is terrible, but I can't help but laugh every time I rewatch it. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty entertaining movie.
Watch from that perspective.
Right.
Do you think, he's asking us,
okay,
State Property is basically Belly, but with Philly rappers?
Mm-hmm.
If you could pick between the two, who would win? Keep in mind, hey T, let's go to Africa. Versus, you either lay down or get down.
Yeah, lay down and get down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Nicholas.
Yeah.
What say you of State Property versus Belly?
Look. Of those films, Belly is the Citizen Kane. Belly is the Citizen Kane of those rapper hood movies from the 90s. It is audacious. It has unforgettable performances. Mm-hmm. It is so bad that it actually kind of goes almost around. And, all jokes, all ironic detachment aside, it is visually
Yes, you can't knock it. Vince.
really interesting.
Yes.
Like it really is. Like I think the best thing that has happened to Belly in the Instagram period of time that we're in is people kind of posting stills from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Belly all day. I like State Property, much like I Got to Hook Up, or I'm trying to think another version of these movies. Like I love these movies that came out in the late 90s, early aughts, that all of the like rappers crews made, basically because they said, who gonna tell us we can't make a movie?
Exactly.
Like I love the spirit of it,
Mm-hmm.
but State Property. You don't have an opinion on Belly versus State Property. You did the I'm going to go ahead and move on face.
And so I shall. We have an email from Miss Makiba.
Hey, what's up, Miss Makiba?
And the subject line is a Wayans appreciation / mini rant.
Okay, all right.
Uh-oh.
All right. Here we
Miss
go.
Makiba,
Here we go.
everybody sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings, Men of Micheaux. I hope you both enjoy your Thanksgiving or whatever name you use for the annual food-centric autumn gathering.
Sure.
During your recent Osmosis Jones review, fellow missionary Michael Sykes initiated a conversation about the Wayans. Please indulge me a moment as I nerd out in response.
Okay,
Okay, well, Miss Makiba,
please do.
the floor is yours. Firstly, Shantae Wayans is the stand-up comedian niece
That's her.
whose name escaped Len during the program. I think she
Yeah,
Vince.
yeah. And I like her.
She hosted a virtual Wayans game night that provided fans a beautiful sneak peek into the family's intergenerational dynamics during COVID. I don't know. Secondly, I would speculate that Papa's House follows the family recipe of hiring Wayans in front of and behind the cameras. Kim and Sean, along with at least one of their legacy, all write for the show. Mm-hmm. Another creates music, similar to Vincent's thought process about the Wayans as a dynasty. I thoroughly enjoy staying for the end credits to see the family name in such varied roles and appreciate the nostalgia of closing each episode with bloopers. How valuable they must find it to have native Wayans dialect speakers involved throughout the creative process. Thirdly, I believe the nephew Craig is the hub of next generation talent. He literally grew up working on multiple Wayans productions, is only a few years behind his youngest uncles, and bridges the generational gap as the Voltron of Kim's creativity, Keenan's vision, Damon's voice, Sean's vantage point, and Marlon's heart. For simplicity's sake, I would say Damon Jr. is the Marlon of the second generation. Each seems to be the family spokesperson for the middle America audience, whose entry point is white chicks and scary movie, versus the audience that recognizes the culturally specific commentary presented as jokes running through Eddie Murphy's Raw, Robert Townsend's Hollywood Shuffle, In Living Color, The Five Heartbeats, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, My Wife and Kids, as well as non-Wayans content like The Boondocks, A Black Lady Sketch Show, The Blackening, Sherman's Showcase, The Last OG, and etc., etc. Finally,
Okay.
it is mine, Miss Makiba's personal opinion that Keenan Ivory Wayans has been the creative algorithm of Hollywood for the past 35 years. Greedy TV execs ousted him from his own show before the movie makers flim-flammed Marlon and Sean to steal the Scary Movie franchise. I'll step down off my soapbox right now before this becomes a full-blown rant about how the lack of creativity in Hollywood stems directly from its coordinated campaign to mistreat the Wayans family while trying and failing to recreate their magic. Thankfully, Scary Movie 6 is in the works to finally right these egregious wrongs. Excited for the possibility of a month-long celebration of the Wayans dynasty. Oh, was that not what you said? Well, it's what I want, so that's what I heard. I'll diligently research which Wayans projects y'all all have already covered before launching my for-your consideration campaign in the Micheaux Mission Facebook group. And party and I will say, I'll see you when it's time to meet again, Miss Makiba.
Very nice. Very nice. We could do a Wayans month.
We are definitely overdue for
Low Down
returning
Dirty
to the
Shame.
world.
The Last Boy Scout, which I know technically is Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans, but I think that worked with Low Down Dirty Shame. Don't Be a Menace.
Mm-hmm. Are you thinking about like for a month?
A month.
Okay, so then Don't Be a Menace.
And I need another maybe we'll do Dance Movie.
Do you don't want to do White Chicks?
I was thinking 2 spoofs and 2 action movies.
Okay, so Low Down Dirty.
Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout. Don't Be a Menace.
Don't Be a Menace. Dance Movie.
Okay, because we already did Scary Movie. Did we do Scary Movie?
We did do Scary Movie. Like we could go out on Dance Movie and talk about the next generation.
Okay. All right.
2025, a Wayne's month.
Listen to you, Mr. We do too many themes.
I think Miss Makiba had a great idea.
I'm just echoing what I heard from you in a production meeting.
I think I really do go by the Duke Ellington thing, where you got to know all the rules so that you know when to break them.
Okay.
So like if the rule, no, this is what we do. There's no themes, or these are the themes, no more extra themes. But if you hear a good idea,
okay,
which I genuinely think this is a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too. I do.
So there you go.
All right. Well done.
All right.
So it's coming, Miss Makiba.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Makiba.
All right. We have another email. This is from Erica Washington.
Hey, Erica.
And the subject line is a long missive with lots of thoughts.
Okay. Those are the best kind.
We love our missionaries. They have thoughts. Hey, Len and Vince, I've written 5 or 6 emails in my head.
Okay. I do that all the time.
But my busy schedule has kept me from putting pen to paper. However, I'm never too busy to listen to the show. I usually listen while I'm getting ready in the morning or during my longer walks trying to get to 10,000 steps. I do 10,000 steps every morning, Erica. It's exciting. And I get on IG and I say hello to IG. Hi, IG. And I give a little message and I do my 10,000 steps every morning. It is exhilarating. It's an exhilarating way to start the day. So God bless you and get on that. Okay.
Health is wealth, and y'all need to stay healthy. It's a bumpy ride.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's going to be a bumpy ride. So
yes.
Everybody needs to stay healthy.
Please. All right. So Erica continues. I wanted to share a few thoughts from various episodes.
Okay.
Number 1, I love the review of 1001.
Yeah.
Which was our 400th episode.
Mm-hmm.
We did with
our good friend Dorian
Missick.
Mm-hmm.
I knew both of you would love this film when I saw it. Tiana Taylor blew me away. She embodies so many women I remember from my childhood, full of love in a hard shell. Mm-hmm. I also enjoy it when Dorian is on the show. You can tell he is a real fan and a true missionary. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Erica. And that gives me a moment to plug that starting in January, the Micheaux Mission, we're actually going to be on our audio podcast. We are going to be releasing 2 episodes a week. We are going to continue with our new episodes that we release on Thursdays, but on Tuesdays of each week, starting in January, we're going to dig into the archive and re-release some of our older shows and put a little bit of commentary at the top, giving you, what our thoughts, present thoughts on the episode and what have you. And we're going to start things with the history of the Mystics with the Micheaux Mission.
Okay.
So we're going to start and I was thinking about this because we talked about like just playing the ones where Dorian and then Simone and Omar have been on. But I think it's only right that we actually start.
We have to start
with big words.
Big words. You got to start with big words.
We got to start with big words.
Start with big words.
With the review that got them to the show.
Yeah.
And you'll see why in January.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. So Erica, thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
And she continues with number 2. Chiwetel Ejiofor is an amazing actor, and I second the recommendation of The Shadow Line. The Brits rule when it comes to police procedurals. Also, thanks for letting us know Homicide: Life on the Streets is streaming. I missed that show so much. We just had
we were just talking about it before the show started.
It's as if Erica was in the room.
I know. Like right before we started, we were just talking about Homicide. Yeah.
Number 3, she says, I recently saw 2 movies that I wanted to know if you have plans to review anytime soon.
Okay.
Free Man with Dick Anthony Williams, Chip Fields, Richard Ward, Pauline Myers, and Louis Gossett Jr. I stumbled upon it on YouTube. Feels more like a film stage play, and I think it aired on PBS. I enjoyed this unexpected find. The performances were top-notch, although the story lacked something. I struggled to understand the dynamics between the parents and Freeman and his wife, played by Chip Fields. Anywho, would love your thoughts on this production. I'm not familiar.
I've never heard of this.
And considering that it's something that maybe played on PBS, it sounds like it may have been a film stage production.
Yeah.
But we'll look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds interesting.
The second movie is Hollow Image, which stars Robert Hooks, Chandra Sharp, and a youngish Morgan Freeman. A young woman struggles to reconnect with other family and roots after leaving Harlem. Even though she is only a few blocks south of her old neighborhood, she is light years away from her past. Have you seen this? Is this on the list to review? Not sure if it was ever in theaters. I'm not familiar with this.
I am not familiar with that as well.
But I do actually have a running list of films that have been suggested by missionaries. You think that we aren't listening. We are paying attention.
Absolutely.
So that I will add this to the list, and when appropriate, either by theme or just the schedule, I always like to return to that list and pull a film from there for our review. So I'll throw this in on the hopper.
And here you go. Here's another theme that we've kind of played around with that maybe we can do this in 2025 too. Like a month of like made for TV films that kind of have this kind of cultural
I thought about
resonance.
that because for a lot of people, the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman is a film.
Yeah.
But it's a TV movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about all of those HBO movies from like the late 90s.
Yeah, the Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen, always outnumbered, always outgunned. Dancing in September.
What's the baseball one? Who Sold a Game? Or
Soul of the Game.
Soul of the Game. Soul of
Yeah.
the Game. Yeah. Yeah, we should do that. We should Miss No More Themes.
I know. See?
Dylan, you're my witness when he said no more themes.
I know.
Now he's just added 2.
I'm a complicated man.
Continue with Erica's email. She says, also, Len, thank you for your service as the presiding polling king of election work and civic engagement. Enough said about that, but you're welcome.
You know, you did that job. You did your job, so yeah.
I did what I could. Lastly, I want to know if you two will think about Wicked as being a black film and review it. I can certainly make that argument. Elphaba is strictly judged on the color of her skin and is abused and used by everyone, even after creating a friendship or allyship and helping Glinda and others in Oz. She is stabbed in the back by everyone. Her story mirrors the struggles black women continue to have. I mean, look at the election numbers. I think y'all should think about this as a possibility. P.S. Finally, I would like to invite the 2 of you to be guests on my show.
Oh.
Sticky Note Conversations. I would love to hear about your podcast journey and learn about you two as individuals and the work you want to do in the future. I know it would be a dope conversation. Erica F. Washington.
Absolutely.
Vegas journalist.
Well, thank you for that,
right, Erica. We will be excited. We will definitely be in touch about being on your show.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for my money, Cynthia Erivo, that's it. It's a wrap. It's a black film. The arguments she makes are valid, but I mean, if we're looking at a lot of the filmography of Denzel Washington and Will Smith and calling them black films, then I would see Wicked as a black film.
You want to tussle? You feel like tussling a little bit?
Tussle a little.
Let me go ahead and kick this hornet's nest. So here's the thing. It's funny because we talked about this a little bit last week after the show. I think The Wizard of Oz is the most overrated, underwhelming white baby boomer driven cultural phenomenon in the history of baby boomers.
Okay.
Like we talk a lot of shit about like the Beatles and that kind of thing, but if you lock in and just sort of sit and listen to like Revolver On, like this is actually good work.
Yes.
Casablanca, I'm sorry, not Casablanca. Gone with the Wind, I think is the most dangerous propaganda this country has ever produced.
Next to Birth of a Nation, yes.
No, I think it's more dangerous than Birth of a Nation.
Okay.
But part of the reason I think it's more dangerous than Birth of a Nation is because it's so good.
Okay.
Like Gone with the Wind is actually good. Wizard of Oz, I think we talk about the Wizard of Oz just because it's been force-fed down our throats since 1955. And like you actually said something last week that I acknowledge. Like Lynn and I talked a little bit because we were talking about Wicked, and I mentioned to him that about my Wizard of Oz thing, and you said the set design, the costumes are extraordinary. And you are 100% correct. But if not for this artificial, them kind of jamming it down our throats, I think people would talk about the Wizard of Oz in the sets, in the costumes, kind of like we talk about, you know, I don't know, Forbidden Planet or Fantastic, like film nerds would talk like what's my man's name that did the makeup for Beat It and the American Werewolf in London?
Rick Baker.
Like Rick Baker. Like people would say, Rick Baker, your makeup, something. And he was like, oh, what you should do is check out this film from 1939 called The Wizard of Oz. And people say, oh, wow, that's really good. But then, you know, it was a financial failure. It didn't make no money. Then it did make some money 10 years later, and they put it on TV, all this stuff. So just from jump, Wizard of Oz is a non-starter for me.
Okay, fair.
And then Wicked, you know, because my daughter likes Wicked. So I've seen Wicked twice on stage. You know, once you get past like 1965 with me, like I cut like those early dudes a little slack. These kind of handmade tale type things where we gonna talk about race, but not like have like actual black people in it.
Okay.
Always leaves me cold, like just generally. And I have to say, in full disclosure, when they announced Cynthia Erivo was playing Old Girl, I said, like I actually, like the very first thing I said when she was cast was, are we gonna have to mess with Wicked? Because I was very comfortable with Wicked being some white people stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like everything don't have to be for me. Like everything don't have to be for me. Vince don't have to like everything. That don't mean I don't want other people to like it. Like if you like it, that's your thing. And I was perfectly comfortable with Wicked being something that ain't for me. Mm-hmm. So I think she makes a fine argument for Wicked being a black movie. And I knew as soon as I saw Cynthia Erivo, I said, oh, Lord, Lynn is probably going to like this.
I haven't seen it, so.
I haven't seen it. I'll probably see it this week because Camille's coming home tomorrow for winter break. So, but I don't.
So we'll be reviewing Wicked.
Yeah, so we'll be, yeah.
So look for that coming your way.
Like I said, I saw it on stage twice. I found the music, the music was.
Really? I enjoyed it.
I cannot remember one song from Wicked.
Oh, I enjoyed it a great deal.
Hey, man.
But
I think you should enjoy. Look, hey, everybody people don't have to like what Vince like.
That's true.
So, you know.
That's true.
But yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, we got to keep it moving. But thank you, Erica, and we'll be in touch.
And not to spoil Wicked because people haven't seen it and know the story, but you know, even the whole thing with the reason why she's green gets a little problematic. But I guess that's why. All right.
We got an email from Michael Sykes.
Hey, Michael.
He Hello, Len and Vincent. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. A couple of weeks ago, I asked y'all, how did Quincy Jones come up with the theme song of Sanford and Son? And you didn't really know. I found the answers to the question in an interview from the Television Academy on Quincy Jones.
Not we didn't really know. We didn't know at all.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Which is fair. Michael found the answer.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
In an interview for the Television Academy, Quincy Jones says that Bud Yorkin came to my house and wanted to see the pilot of Sanford and Son. I said, who was going to star in it? He answered, Red Fox. I laughed and told him, you can't put him on TV. It won't last. I worked with him 30 years ago during the Chitlin circuit.
Of course
Nothing he said can go on TV. Then Bud said, watch and see. I told him I don't need to see the pilot. And in 20 minutes, I was done writing it. The music sounds just like Red. I used a tube shaker, bass guitar, and a harmonica, so it was raggedy just like Red. It only took me 30 minutes to lay down the music, and I was done. After hearing that, I was so stunned that there will never be another like him ever again. Name me one producer today that's like that. Don't worry, I'll wait. He will be missed but never forgotten. Love, your fan, Michael Sykes.
He wrote the theme to Sanford and Son in a half hour. Is that what I'm getting?
In a half hour.
Jeez.
A half hour.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Totally believe it.
I do like a group mind.
All right, we got an email from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
Len and Vince, happy holidays to you both. We are in the thick of the madness now, so being able to kick back with a scotch and watch a flick with you two is a welcome reprieve.
I know that's right.
Knowing that Dylan has been pushing for Osmosis Jones, what took so long? This film is really a lot better than I remember. It's also smarter and more layered than I even remotely thought.
Yeah.
You two hit the nail on the head with the observation that Osmosis Jones got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time with its release date. It was headed to its execution when it stepped out the door. On my time travels, I landed with you two as you critiqued A Rage in Harlem. Like many others you've done, this movie had so much potential. The cast is stellar. The source material is outstanding. The money to get the period piece right was on point. It really fell short, and I would venture a guess that it was ambiguity around what the hell we, the above-the-line folks, want this thing to be. Comedy, thriller, noir.
That's right.
What could this project have been with Carl Franklin and Walter Mosley at the helm, or at least collaborating with Bill Duke? A Rage in Harlem sent me down a crime noir rabbit hole, and I ended up in a very familiar territory. Batman. 3 quick questions. Have you guys seen the first episodes of The Penguin? I didn't know what to expect and have been very pleasantly surprised. This is a Gotham underworld that is grounded in the present and yet just as gritty and slightly macabre as anything from the comics. 2, what current black actors would make for perfect Batman villains right now? And 3, finally, if the DCEU could get past itself and cast black actors as Batman and Robin on film, who would you two pick for those 2 spots? Much love, Michael Lockett. Well, I agree with all these points about Osmosis Jones and A Rage in Harlem, first of all, and what A Rage in Harlem could have been in the hands of Carl Franklin and Walter Mosley. Oh, the mind.
I know.
Boggles.
I know.
In regards to The Penguin, I did watch the full season of The Penguin.
Okay.
The Penguin was 100 times better than it had any right to be.
Okay.
It was really, really smartly done. Fantastic acting from everyone. And just really just smart crime television.
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd episode, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
Oh, the surprises are, you've got a lot
Okay.
to look forward to.
Okay.
It does not, just when you think it maybe is stretching a little long, it pulls you right in.
Okay.
And then it rises to the end.
All right.
And I mean the end.
Okay. All right.
Excellent show. So I'm with him on that. It's just questions as far as like, black Batmans and black man villains. I don't even want to hasten to guess who would be a black Batman and Robin, because it ain't going to happen.
Sure.
Now, a black Batman villain, I could actually possibly see that. Mm-hmm. And some might argue we've already kind of got it, because you've got Catwoman.
Yeah.
And Zoe Kravitz. But outside of Zoe Kravitz, if you wanted to cast someone black as a familiar Batman villain, I mean, you could always go to Two-Face. I'm not saying Billy D, but that's historically, and even kind of like the cartoons played around with that, the old Batman animated series, that Two-Face was kind of ambiguous in his look. So you could always play around with Two-Face. I myself, though, and I'm not sure how I would cast off the top of my head, but I might just go for the juggler and just play around with the Joker.
That's what's on my mind.
Yeah, just put a black Joker there. But I don't know who I would cast.
Oh, I do.
Who?
Oh, I think Billy Porter as the Joker would be fantastic.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely Billy Porter as the Joker. Mm-hmm. Yo, let's make that happen. Mm-hmm. Let's start a campaign to make that happen, because that is excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is absolutely to James Gunn. That is it. That is it.
Like they play. You and I have been reading comics long enough and watching all this kind of, they kind of play around with, is Joker gay? Mm-hmm. Is is
there kind of like a love thing?
There's this homoeroticism in there. I say lean into it.
Yeah.
Like lean into it and let Billy Porter be Billy Porter. Mm-hmm. And just through the years as he, played Pray Tell, he can be menacing. So there you go. Ooh. Billy Porter is the Joker.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Give me a call, Mr. Gunn. Give me a call.
Say it again.
That one's for free.
All right. Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. We have one more email.
Okay.
Vincenzo.
I like a lot of emails.
Yeah, it's always nice to hear.
It's always nice to have emails.
And this one is from Nicole Sherman.
Hey, Nicole.
A Mount Rushmore of MCs with distinctive voices.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Getting into your bag, Vince.
Hey, look, I trust her more than these other people making lists. So.
Good afternoon, Len and Vincent and missionaries. I apologize for writing late, but I pose a question for you both.
Okay.
Who are 4 MCs that have a voice in the way they rhyme and rap that you find unique, different, and distinctive? Mm-hmm. My top 4, Nicole lists.
Okay.
Chuck D.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Sounds like a scolding father when he raps, but has a voice of sports commentator as well. Guru from Gangstar, very monotone, laid back, but is also a wordsmith. Mm-hmm. Rakim, the God MC, the guy who basically changed rap for the best.
God had a God.
And Snoop Dogg. He's so relaxed with it, but his rapping voice is everything. Honorable mentions, Jizza from Wu-Tang, Ghostface Killah, and Foxy Brown.
Oh, that's an interesting choice.
That's an
interesting choice.
It's a dig deep.
Yeah.
Would love to hear your thoughts from a missionary, Nicole.
Okay.
Ooh, wow.
What you got, Lynn?
Well, she's got some good ones. Chuck D, Guru, Rakim.
Those are unique voices. You know them
Snoop.
when you hear them.
Yeah, most definitely. You know them. I would say, the world's going to cape for either Biggie or Pac. And they do have distinctive voices.
Sure.
There's a part of me that wants to I might throw Pac out there,
Okay.
maybe above Biggie, even though I like Biggie more.
Right. We're saying unique. We're not saying
unique.
the best MC.
Yeah, but I think that for voice, I think you gotta put your boy in there.
Who?
Tip.
Yeah.
You gotta put Tip in there.
He was going to be one of my choices.
I think you gotta put Tip in there.
Yeah.
Some would argue for Nas, but I think if you got Rakim, then you got kind of that.
Yeah, I was about to say absolutely.
You know,
I agree.
The Foxy is very derivative to me. So
Okay.
I think I would go Latifah before Foxy, maybe even no, I'll go Latifah because I think Latifah can kind of ride that fence with the hard, and she can go a little soft and playful with it. So I'll say Latifah, and oh boy. I'm going to. Here's controversy.
Okay.
I'll throw a controversy.
Hey, I already said I don't like the Wizard of Oz. So. The Hornets are already flying around.
If I got Tip in there, so that means I don't really need anybody else from the Jungle Brothers.
No.
So, and I love him, but I can't take Heavy D. I might take Eminem.
Okay. All right.
Distinctive voice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Style, flow. Definitely people tried to capture his cadence.
Mm-hmm.
I might say M.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start with the voice. I think when you talk about unique voice and someone who's sort of, I would say, on the level of Rakim as far as shaping and being the blueprint, I think LL.
I was going to say
You
LL.
gotta put LL in there for voice, like just
didn't know if
MC
he was
voice.
Okay, all right, I hear you.
You know,
And he definitely straddles all genres.
Well,
and
again,
generations.
he's like the foundation.
Yeah,
you know, everybody sort of.
I was thinking of that's a good one.
Old Dirty Bastard, I thought had the most unique delivery of damn near anybody.
Yeah,
but the way it is almost like Thelonious Monk, like the way he kind of wobbled around and played with cadences. And
does he borrow a little bit from ultramagnetic MCs, or even a little bit of Greg Nice?
Not Greg Nice, because I don't think Greg Nice is a good MC.
But I'm just talking about the way he.
No. I think Greg Nice actually is not capable of being on the beat.
Okay, fair enough.
Cool Keith, I think, is a better, and I would take Cool Keith as a substitution for Old Dirty Bastard. I think the difference between ODB and Cool Keith is that Cool Keith, I think, is more mad scientist.
Yes.
And Old Dirty Bastard is more drunken master.
You're right. Okay. You know what? That's a good comparison. There you go.
I'm going to stick to what I got.
So ODB.
I got LL.
ODB.
I think Special Ed's cadence was always
like
just a really weird cadence.
Yeah, but he still was kind of like in that like kind of like him, Large Professor, kind of like vibe.
I thought Large Professor was more of a straight ahead MC. Like, I'm talking about these dudes that like.
I'm not knocking. I love.
No. I mean, like, to me, Large Professor was like an actual MC.
Yeah.
Whereas Special Ed was an MC that, like, it shouldn't have worked. Like, this should not be working.
I don't know about
and
that.
People would argue that it didn't work. But I always.
No, people love Ed, man. People wanted so much more from him.
It's a weird cadence with Special Ed. And then finally. Again, because we're doing unique voices. Okay. We're not doing
greatest and
the greatest.
Like that. Right.
Too short.
Okay, I can go too short.
Yeah, too short.
I can go too short because he definitely was a man into his own self.
Right. Yeah. I would accept like Bun B. instead of two. But
Too
you
short.
know
No,
that's
too
sort of
short.
yeah
I
too
would go
short.
too short.
Yeah.
Yeah, except no substitutes.
Yeah.
I would go give Too Short his due.
Yeah.
Yes, especially because he did it on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you know it's Too Short as soon as you hear him.
Yeah. You know who's another name who maybe gets lost and kind of like gets buried like with Too Short, but not by real MCs? Scarface.
See. Here's Scarface versus Too Short to me. I feel like Scarface.
It's hip hop talk, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like Scarface approached the art form as a dude not from New York, but who studied New Yorkers and then brought his own thing
He
too.
brought his own swag. And his own
Whereas
style.
someone like Too Short,
Just did his own thing.
right, Too Short sounds like he's never heard hip hop before.
Yeah. 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 No. I understand. I recognize the difference between them. I'm just saying that Scarface is someone I don't hear getting the propers that he deserves.
Right. And it's completely regional bias that he doesn't. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Great question, Nicole.
Great question. And she trying to throw us off because you know we'll sit here.
I know.
Like I'm ignoring the screen. I see people talking about Slick Rick and MF Doom and
Yeah. No.
We're doing so well on time.
I know.
Because we got a lot to talk about with Blazing Saddles.
And we still got
we still got stuff right.
But Maurice is sitting there.
I know. All right, go ahead.
So
that's a great question.
That's a great question. I keep telling you, we need a binge lounge. We're due for a binge lounge.
I know.
Let's do the work.
Come on.
We don't need themes. We don't need binge lounge.
Look, man, dude, look. You remember how Tyson used to come out in his prime and he just have on the black trunks? Like I just got on black trunks in these little boots. Like we doing this business. Yeah, see, we late 80s Tyson.
Yeah.
You just come out.
Until you get in the ring and just say the rules and just say, let's do 2 more theme months. And can another hip hop thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, and then you want to rush. That's exactly what. Now you want to rush. We're doing good on time, Len.
I know.
No more segues.
I know. I had forgotten that we still had other stuff to do. We're actually not doing good on time at all. We're not doing good. Everything I just said was 100% incorrect.
If you want to have your emails, your thoughts shared on the show, please feel free to email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. It is now time for Mo Poplar's Top 5.
Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is.
Top 5, where I usually would come up with lists and Vincent would add his scintillating commentary to it, but not tonight, because tonight, off screen, but here, live in studio, is our good friend and associate producer, Mo Poplar. You know him as Ashy Feet.
Happy Missionary Day, missionaries. This is Mel Poplar coming with a face for radio. With my top 5. Hey, it's nice being on the show. It's nice seeing y'all do your thing. Y'all are awesome. I think all the emails said that. We'll carry on. Today's top 5 is top 5 films that didn't do race as well as Blazing Saddles.
Top 5 films that did not do race as well as Blazing Saddles.
Very nice. This could be a top 30 list.
It could.
It could be, but I'm trying to keep it short.
All right.
And I'm only going to stick with black people.
Okay. All right. What we got?
So, and just to be clear, I'm going to finesse and say these are comedies.
Okay.
Okay, fair.
All right.
But clearly some of them ain't funny.
Okay.
So number 5, we have a film that you guys relished when you reviewed it maybe a year or two ago, maybe a few months ago. Soul Man.
Oh,
God.
I thought you were doing black films.
I mean, Soul Man's a black film.
James L. Jones is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Man is deals with race terribly.
Very terribly. Very terribly. Give people a 30-second pitch on what Soul Man is about.
Soul Man is the story of a young white man in Los Angeles who doesn't get into school. And so he reapplies as a black person. And of course, because reverse racism is not
Which is totally
loving black people, it is helping black people instead of white people. He gets into school and he learns life lessons, as well as that he can't play basketball or that he is not black.
Yeah, Soul Man's terrible.
Yeah, Soul Man is
Terrible.
a very bad. Who is the female lead in that?
Ray Dawn Chung.
Ray Dawn Chung. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Ray Dawn Chung?
Yeah, that is just a bad. Bad.
And there's this idea that if it's funny, then it could be racy.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not funny.
But it's not funny.
It's not funny at all.
It is listed as a comedy.
Yes,
So,
it is.
Yeah, number 5.
All right.
Number
A film that didn't do race as well as Blazing Saddle.
No, it
All
did
right.
not.
No, it did not.
Soul Man. For number 4,
Number 4.
we have a legendary comedian. Some would say past the prime of his game. Doing his thing in a way that only he knew how. In some way, would say it's not as funny as Blazing Saddles. We have Richard Pryor in The Toy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, The Toy is rough.
Yeah, the toy is Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, that is not a good.
Yeah, The Toy is rough.
Have you guys reviewed that yet?
We have.
We did review the toy.
We did.
Review the toy.
And the terrible thing about The Toy is that everyone knew it was a terrible idea going in, and they did it anyway.
Yep.
The synopsis of The Toy is we have a down on his luck African-American man who is hired to be his, hired by a very wealthy Jackie Gleason to be his child's best friend and toy, to do whatever his child says do. And if this sounds real cringy, it's because it was a really cringy movie.
What year was that?
I want to say 82, 83.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, early.
Yeah.
It's definitely early 80s.
Yeah.
I think it was before Superman 3.
It was.
Richard Pryor, for as hallowed a name as he is in the world of comedy, rightfully so, made very questionable decisions in regards to his movie career.
You know, the ironic thing about Richard Pryor's movie career is that I would submit his best work in the movies was when he played serious roles.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when he's not the star.
No, I mean, you know, a serious role that I'm thinking of is something like Lady Sings the Blues.
Lady Sings the Blues, yeah.
But, you know, you think about Lady Sings the Blues.
Blue
you
Collar.
think about
Blue Collar.
Blue Collar.
Yep.
You think about Grease Lightning. Like,
Everything he did with Gene Wilder.
No,
well,
not everything.
and we'll talk about that in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I think tapping into the heart is what really gets him across in the movies. And you know, I think there's an instinct to make him madcap. That, you know, I think that's a real like I think when you are a black comedian, it is a really small needle to thread between madcap and Coonan. And a lot of times he doesn't quite thread that needle
Right. And I think that
in his film work.
and I think that's because for all his prowess, he's not a great physical comedian.
He's not a great physical comedian.
And I think that a lot of those films which, like, let's put it out there, most of them are not by black people.
Then there's that.
You know, they don't know how to use them. So they see a black guy, like, oh, then he can just run around, he can jump around, and that's not his strength.
Right.
That's not his strength, the physical comedian. And therefore, these films don't play to his strengths. And I find him mugging a lot in a lot of these films.
Yeah.
And thus they become cringeworthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's a shame because
of course.
he is rightfully one of the kings of comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the top 4 names in history in comedy.
I mean, when he's right, he's right. A film that you and I both enjoyed a great deal. Just think about how good he was in Which Way Is Up. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, think how good he is in Bingo Long Traveling All-Star Motorcade.
Which, as you said, he's not the star.
He's not the star.
You know.
Or you've got like short bits.
He's got these short little
like
bits.
when Uptown Saturday Night, just that little short little clip.
Yeah. So
He's not at the height of his power in Harlem Nights.
Well, yeah.
But,
Harlem Nights.
but he shows up.
Yeah, but by the time of Harlem Nights, he's basically they're propping him up.
yeah.
You know, and I got a funny feeling that for as good as he looks in Harlem Nights, if you could find what's on the cutting room floor, there's a lot of takes.
Yeah.
Because he just was not at his strength. Right. But all right.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a collection, a gestalt of films
Okay.
Oh,
that many
one of those
people
Vincent words.
would see as comedic. But I'll let y'all discuss the Tarzan films. Minus Greystoke.
You mean like the Johnny Westmuller films?
Yeah.
Okay, but were they really even trying to deal with race, to be fair?
They weren't trying to do.
They weren't trying to deal with race.
They weren't trying to.
I mean, their depiction of race is...
Were they set in Africa? Were there bush people who were constantly outspotted by monkeys and Tarzan?
They were definitely pushed.
There's a component, yes, but they weren't trying to be... They weren't trying to offer any type of commentary whatsoever, outside of just being some stupid adventure movie.
And
It's a
they don't
comedy.
treat race well, but you know, I have to admit, some of those movies are pretty zippy.
Because of what what they're trying to be. Just a fun little, dumb little adventure movie.
Like off the top of your head, like how many of those did Johnny Westmuller make?
I think
like, do you know?
Maybe did like about 7 or 8.
I was about to say, I'm 100% sure I've seen all of the Johnny Westmuller Tarzan movies.
He may have done more, yeah.
2 or 3 times. Like there was a station that played them in Baltimore.
Well, you said in here in Philly.
Yeah.
It used to be Saturday morning.
and I would watch them from beginning to end, and they were super problematic. And it got to the point where like I couldn't let my dad know I was watching them.
It never got that bad for me.
Yeah, like my dad was not. It was like the Tarzan, the two types of movies I hid that I was watching from my dad. The Tarzan movies, them damn Elvis movies were super entertaining.
Really? You had to hide from your folks? watching Elvis
Oh, my dad did not rock with Elvis.
movies? Really?
We'll talk about later. One of the things that made my dad laugh really hard was the fart scene in this movie. You know, the other thing that would make my dad laugh just out of nowhere, if you say the king died on his throne, talking about Elvis dying on the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, that entertained my father to no end.
Really?
He did not like Elvis Presley.
Well, I can understand not liking
Yeah.
Elvis, but I never had to
Like,
hide that I was watching Elvis Presley.
Yeah, look, I just didn't want to hear it. I just didn't want to hear his mouth.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow, the only thing I ever had to hide from watching my folks was Monty Python and Benny Hill.
Benny Hill. Sure, Benny Hill.
The choice of a generation.
I have a feeling I would rather my father had caught me watching Benny Hill than Viva Las Vegas.
Wow.
He
Because he
would've
probably
understood.
would have sat down and joined you for Benny
Look
Hill.
at him. Look at him pretending to be black. It's like, okay, I get. Yes, I know. I understand.
Does he pretend to be black in Viva Las Vegas?
According to my father, Elvis's
Always
entire
trying to
Well,
be
his
black.
whole thing.
no matter what he
Steal
did,
soul from Chuck.
no matter what he did,
Oh, so he's trying to be black.
He was pretending to be like he was like Elvis putting on a jacket. Look at him trying to put on a jacket like a black man. It's like, well, I mean, I can't fight you about this exactly.
Look at him dating them white women like a black man.
That is terrible and so accurate.
Number 2.
Where the white women at?
Where the white women at? I wonder, is this where that comes from?
Yes.
Does it come from Blazing Saddles?
What? Where the white women?
Where the white women at?
Yeah.
That is.
You don't remember that?
No, I remembered from the movie. I didn't know that this is where it came
Oh,
from.
yes. Number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2, a comedy, a film, so egregious in its depiction of race, it's almost impossible to find.
Okay.
Song of the South.
Song of the South.
Song of the South.
Which I heard is actually supposed to be being re-released or something.
Oh, look, man. Look.
When it comes out, I'm
Look.
grabbing it.
Going into 2025, it's
coming.
just everything. It's just everything.
coming.
Everything. Stay healthy, y'all. Drink your water.
Drink your water.
Get your sleep.
Get your steps.
Get your steps in.
I've actually never seen Song of the South. If I have seen it, I don't remember.
I saw it.
I
I know.
play it on
I
the
know the
Wonderful
music.
World of Disney.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. I just don't remember.
Right. I've seen it.
I don't remember if I've seen it. Because there was a time when I like the live action or kind of like you know.
You ain't like it. You ain't like that. You ain't like that.
I ain't got one
You
there.
ain't like the Incredible Mr.
He
Lippet.
hated Mary Poppins.
I like
Mr. Limpet is awesome.
I like Mr. Limpet when I was younger. But I definitely reached the age with the Disney films, like the Disney, because Mr. Limpet was a comedy,
Yes.
but the Disney films would be musicals, and I was like, I don't want to see cartoons singing
So it's
with live people.
like cartoons and live
So
people.
I didn't like Mary Poppins.
It-
I didn't like bed knobs and broomsticks and vacuum cleaners.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was at work.
When I saw all of them at least once, but then I never.
You didn't like
returned to
Pete's
them.
Dragon?
I've never seen Pete's Dragon
How have you never seen Pete's Dragon?
A classic.
because I've never turned it on. I know you aren't talking about how I've never seen. There are plenty of you who have never seen things we have talked about.
Yes, but they're not wonderful.
There's nothing
Bonbons
wonderful
of joy
There's nothing
about
wonderful
Pete's
about
Dragon.
bonbons of joys about Pete's Dragon.
Pete's Dragon is
which
fantastic.
is actually just all about LSD.
I will say, a lot of drugs.
Yes.
A lot of drugs involved with
Yes.
Pete's Dragon.
That's why you like Pete's Dragon. What's number 1?
Y'all know what number 1 is. The film that some people think is funny that just doesn't really depict race well. Birth of a Nation.
Yeah. Birth of Nation is terrible.
It's terrible. It's a terrible film.
Yeah. Birth of Nation is terrible.
Terrible film. We're overdue to review it.
Birthed the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it did.
Screened in the White House by Woodrow Wilson.
Screened in the White House
It
by that
was.
bastard Woodrow Wilson.
Yes, and it is a certifiable landmark in film for its production.
That is what everyone keeps telling me.
And if having watched not the whole film, but like seeing those segments,
I get
it's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
The extended sequences, yeah, I get it. I get it.
But yeah,
And the Nazis had beautiful uniforms.
they did. Their color scheme wasn't.
And
terrible.
they were on time.
All right. Well, that's the top 5.
That's the top 5.
Thank you, Mo.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Maurice. Yeah.
See, I'm full of it.
All right.
You are indeed. And now it is time because Mo still comes bearing gifts.
That's right. We're all going to play the game of kings.
That's right. It's now time for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
Six Degrees of D'Urville Martin, the Game of Kings, where we will look at the filmography of D'Urville Martin and trace him to 2 amazing African-American artists.
Okay.
Oh, okay. African American artist.
Okay.
Okay. What we got?
I feel like y'all been going in a lot of different places because Vince is very good at this game. And
Okay,
so,
here we go.
I think we have two people who may be slightly challenging.
Okay.
You may have done the first one, but you haven't done it in a while. So in 6 degrees, get to Paul Robeson.
Paul Robeson.
Paul Robeson.
Ooh, you're gonna have to dig a little deep.
You should help, Lynn.
I'm thinking. Paul Robeson. Ooh. See, you got to know a Paul Robeson co-star.
So Paul Robeson.
Let me know if you need help because there's one film that y'all probably won't review that he is prominent in.
So Paul Robeson is in The Emperor Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think who was he in? Who was in Is it Body and Soul?
Body and Soul.
Who's he in with? Who's in Body and Soul with him?
Is Frida in that?
I was about to say, is Frida
Washington?
Freddie
Freddie
Washington.
Freddie Washington. But even then, like, all right, so who do you connect Freddie Washington to? Well, Freddie Washington is in Imitation of Life, the original with Claudette Colbert, who was in It Happened One Night with Clark Gable.
There it is. But are we sure Freddie Washington
Is in Body and Soul.
is in Body and Soul?
We got to make sure. And I can't look at. Can I look it up?
I'm looking it up.
Okay. Because if you get to Clark Gable, then you can get to.
You definitely get. I mean, with Clark Gable and as we were talking, like with Gone with the Wind, between Butterfly McQueen and Vivian Lee,
Yes.
I can get to him from either of them.
Okay. All right.
So
So I've got you to Clark Gable because I was actually going to go to Clark Gable to Run Silent, Run Deep with Burt Lancaster.
I was not going to go to Run Silent, Run Deep with Burt Lancaster.
Is Freddie Washington? Is she in Body
Freddie
and Soul?
Washington. I'm almost there. I'm sorry.
So everything hinges on Freddie Washington. Otherwise,
It all falls apart. We just have to start all over again.
the Jenga comes all apart.
Yeah.
And we have to start over.
I'm scrolling. I don't think it's Freddie Washington.
Oh, okay. She's not in that. Well, what's the movie you're thinking of?
Showboat.
Showboat.
Who's Paul Robeson in Showboat?
He sings Old Man River.
I'm trying to think of who else is in Showboat.
Big Hollywood movie.
Is Judy Garland in Showboat?
That's an excellent
No,
question.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think she's in Showboat.
It's one of those movies a lot of people were in.
Because I think she's not. I don't think she's in Showboat. Who's in Showboat? Shit, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. It's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Let me know if you need another hint.
Give us another one.
Ava Gardner is in Showboat.
Ava Gardner? Okay, boom. All right. So Paul Robeson is in Showboat with Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner is in. I just saw it. 7 Days of May with. Let's see, who do I want to pick? Kirk Douglas or Burt Lancaster? She's in 7 Days of May with. Who do we want to get to? Who are we trying to get to again?
Derville Martin.
Derville Martin. I totally forgot.
Was she in something with Sammy Davis Jr. or was she just having sex with Sammy
She was
Davis
just
Jr.?
having sex.
She was just having
She
sex
ain't do
with-
movies with him.
Yeah.
But
None for the general audience.
But Ava Gardner is in. Okay, 7 Days in May with
Kirk Douglas and
Burt
Burt Lancaster. What else is Ava Gardner in?
I'm trying to think of. There's,
I mean, you're trying to. This is your whole bag.
I know, but I'm trying to think of like her. her movies and then her co-star.
You know, I think she was passing.
Well, I don't think she was passing as black though. I think she.
No, I think she was passing as white.
Oh no, she was passing as white because I think she has like Latin.
Yeah, right. She's Latin. If you can't see my hard air quotes through the
Okay.
but go ahead.
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
I know.
you want me to do this, right?
Look, man.
All right. So Kirk Douglas is in. So let's go. Kirk Douglas. Paul Robeson is in Showboat with Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner is in 7 Days in May with Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas
Is he in Spartacus
is in Spartacus
with Woody Strode?
with Woody Strode, and then Woody Strode.
Woody Strode is in, because it's actually a cheat I can use with Woody Strode. Woody Strode is in Posse with Pam Grier, and then Pam Grier is in Sheba Baby
with Derville
Derville Martin.
There you go. Because that kid's been in 6. Because I was actually going to say Kirk. You could go Kirk Douglas to Spartacus, and Tony Curtis is in Spartacus.
Who's then in the Defiant Ones with Sidney Poitier. So there you go.
But we kept it within 6.
There you go.
All right, we did it.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have unlocked your second challenge.
Okay. Who we got?
In 6 degrees or less, get to Lena Horne.
Oh, you got
Oh,
this.
yeah, Lena Horne.
You got this.
Oh, my goodness. So many paths to Lena Horne. We'll keep it Wizard of Oz themed.
I hoped you would.
So, because of course, Derville Martin is in, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier, who is in, we'll make it even shorter than that. Derville Martin is in The Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in Lady Sings the Blues with Diana Ross. And then, of course, Diana Ross is in The Wiz
Yes.
with Lena Horne.
Who plays?
Glinda the Good Witch.
That's right. Good
So there you
job.
go.
Good job.
Yeah, Lena Horne.
Very good.
Oh, thank you. Very good yourself.
All right.
Now you see what it's like, right?
Oh,
You see it is the lights and people looking at you and the clock is going and yeah.
I did it.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, Marie.
Yes, thank you.
For sure. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. Keep the show alive. Keep the mission going.
All right.
Well, we're going to try. We're going
Yeah,
to try and keep
yeah.
it going as we move into our review of Blazing Saddles. From 1974, this satirical take on Westerns, crafty railroad worker Bart, played by Cleavon Little, becomes the first black sheriff of Rock Ridge, a frontier town about to be destroyed in order to make way for a new railroad. Initially, the people of Rock Ridge harbor a racial bias towards their new leader. However, they warm to him after realizing that Bart and his perpetually drunk gunfighter friend, played by Gene Wilder, are the only defense against a wave of thugs sent to rid the town of its population. This irreverent, sophomoric, and satirical comedy is brought to you by the mind of Mel Brooks from a screenplay written by Andrew Bergman, Alan Uger, Norman Steinberg, Mel Brooks, and one Richard Pryor. It's Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux mission. It is actually a redo. First time on YouTube review of Blazing Saddles for the mission. Vincent, what say you of Blazing Saddles?
Well, speaking of watching the clock, I have to watch the clock with this because this is one of the reviews that we do sometimes that really kind of liberates us from the review itself. Like there are some films that are so bad that our reviews are like, wow, this really sucks.
Right.
And like nobody wants to hear you say this really sucks for a half hour. Or they're so good that like, what all can you say?
Yeah.
Really, except talk about all the different ways that it's good. And, for my money, Blazing Saddles is without hyperbole one of the greatest comedies ever made. Like in my top 10, definitely. if I sit here long enough, I might be able to think of 5 films better than Blazing Saddles as far as comedies go. I would listen to an argument that Young Frankenstein is better than this. Like I would actually entertain that argument. But I also think this is Mel Brooks' best film, which is no small feat. And for those of you kind of keeping score, what I'm saying is that in my top 10, I have 2 Mel Brooks films. Lets you know how I feel about Mel Brooks. Like I really do think he was an American master of the arts.
A living legend, still alive.
And I'm sorry, he is a living, he is an American master. And like so much that does actually make America great. Like outside of the slogans and the jingoism and all of that stuff. Like I do think there are aspects of American culture that make us great. And one of the great contributions to American culture is the contribution of Jewish artists. And in my mind, at the forefront of that, you have someone like Mel Brooks. And there's something particularly Jewish about his work. And the 2 aspects that I pull from is this embrace of the absurd. This embrace of the absurd. It's for obvious reasons, certainly when you think about Jewish people and how they kind of look at the universe, certainly after the middle of the 20th century, the universe is chaotic. The universe is illogical. The universe is sort of disorderly. And the thing about absurdity is that you embrace that. And there is something really absurd about this world that is created in Blazing Saddles. There's all of the fourth wall breaking. There's the anachronisms of people, talking about things that don't exist in this
setting of the film,
this time period. My favorite example of this in this film, the final sequence of the film, where you have the great fight and it, literally is transgressive. It falls outside of the set, and then you have this wonderful moment where Bart is chasing Hedley Lamar and
played by Harvey Korman.
Harvey Korman and Cleavon Little, and they go into the theater to watch the film, and they go back and forth within the film and without the film. There's and kind of capped with this wonderful moment where Bart, who was sitting in the theater with Jim watching the movie, now they're back in the movie, and Jim is sitting and he's still eating the popcorn from watching the movie. So this sort of absurdist sensibility. And then there's kind of this kind of sweet melancholy that I think runs through Mel Brooks, where for all of the comedy, for all of the farce, there's this real heart in them. There's this real sweetness. This character Bart, who finds himself being the sheriff of this racist town, for all the jokes and this and that, like you get the sense like his feelings are actually a little hurt. Like he really is kind of appealing to this kind of humanity. And again, this is something I think you see in a lot of this Jewish art, or rather this Jewish contribution to American art. And then on the other hand, you have blackness, represented by Cleavon Little on screen, Richard Pryor off screen in the script. And this is a wonderful example of sort of almost a weaponizing of coolness. Where I'm cool I'm peacocking, and you know, it's like Cleavon Little does this. You know, he looks resplendent in these outfits. You know, speaking of the kind of fourth wall breaking, you know, he has this wonderful entrance scene where Count Basie is playing his entrance music, but then it's actually Count Basie. And you have this sort of this black cool combined with this absurdity, and you get this wonderful mix that you see periodically when you think about art in America. Like the great example, you know, you think about jazz, which I think is a perfect example of this melding of Jewish and black sensibilities. Zora Neale Hurston has a novel called Moses, Man of the Mountain, which is her retelling of the Moses story.
Yeah.
And there's that Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny,
Bugs Bunny,
there. It's right there.
who when you read about Bugs Bunny, and you know, you have all the Jewish voices that created Bugs Bunny, and then, you know, while there aren't any black voices, there are a lot of Southern white men involved in the creation of Bugs Bunny, and they're just channeling blackness, because Bugs Bunny is just Brer Rabbit. Like, he's just Brer Rabbit. So this,
or I heard actually Mo was mentioning earlier, Anansi.
or Anansi. I don't want to get too deep in the woods. I do think Brer Rabbit and Anansi, you get some different. Like, I think there's something very African American about Brer Rabbit that you see more with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, of course, yes.
But this film, I think, does such a good job capturing that, like capturing this. And just for that, like, I think that makes this film transcendent. I think this is why we talk about this film. This is why, you know, it's in the Library of Congress. Like, I think this kind of lightning in a bottle of this cultural mosaic. But then it's just also really freaking funny.
Yes.
Like, just really, you know, Harvey Korman, I don't think, gets the shine he should. Like, I think Harvey Korman really kind of had a heart. When you think about him in, you know, the great Harvey Korman claim to fame is, of course, he was part of the classic Carol Burnett show. But you think about the four players. You know, Carol Burnett, her name is on the banner. Tim Conway was just a fireball. Even Vicki Lawrence, between Mama's Family and you know, That's the Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia, you know, she got her follow. And Harvey Korman, you know, I always felt like people didn't talk about Harvey Korman as much as they should have. His Hedley Lamar is so funny and so verbally you know, the dexterity of the way he delivers on. And Slim Pickens
is
who brings this other speed, and the two of them together paralleling this barely contained chaos that is Gene Wilder. That he carried with this kind of, I mean, he said at one point they actually kind of lampshaded where he says, "What is a cosmopolitan urbanite like you doing in a place?" Like, Cleavon Little is so cool. Like, he's so cool, and he's so much smarter than everyone. You know, speaking of them channeling Bugs Bunny, and then there's the moment with the Candygram where they actually say, "This is Bugs Bunny," and you have these two duos kind of holding this thing together comedically, and then an hour into an hour and a half movie, somebody says,
"Oh,
Miss Khan,
Madeline Kahn,
it's time for you.
You're ready for your close-up."
That damn Madeline Kahn.
Yep.
Just kind of dances in.
I'm tired. So
has an extended musical number. Again, I think I always forget how short the film is.
It is.
Because it's so packed. she has an extended musical number that you cannot slice a sliver off of it.
Nope.
It is so dynamic. It is so sexy. It is so funny. And for her to come in, again, after we've been dealing with these four masters for an hour and carve her own space.
Basically came like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Look, it's Blazing Saddles. Like this is in my mind one of the greatest achievement of American art. Like this is, the aliens come.
Yeah.
We gotta pack up something and give it to the aliens to prove that America should exist. Which, I feel thing about democracy is you get the government you deserve. But I feel like Blazing Saddles is really, again, just proof positive that this is a good thing that we have here.
Yeah. I see on the chat that Ron Covington actually pointed out that Madeline Kahn did get an Oscar nomination for her work in this film. It's interesting, not, we both have seen this film 1,000 times.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like maybe once every couple of years I just throw this on and just laugh at quoting it, still quote the film. But a long time ago, I kind of locked in on the idea that, what this is a cartoon for adults. That's exactly what this is. And in the Cleavon Little character, Bart, he's Bugs Bunny, the smartest man in the room at all times, who can still have his feelings hurt, can still be played with heart, but sees a mission. He's going to do his mission. He's going to get it done against all odds, outsmart everybody, outsmart the Yosemite Sams and Elmer Fudd's of the world, played by Slim Pickens and Harvey Korman. He doesn't have Daffy Duck by his side, but he's got Porky Pig.
Yeah.
In Gene Wilder. And like the greatest of those Warner Brother cartoons, this movie is stuffed with jokes.
Yes.
Which is Mel Brooks, that's his
thing.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
It's stuffed with jokes. And Mel Brooks is definitely a funny guy, and Andrew Bergman and the other writers. So there's comedy there, but I think the smartness of what takes all of those jokes to the other level is the contribution of Richard Pryor. Even though you hear the story is Richard Pryor is only on the first draft.
Yeah.
But it's enough to get in there to cement who the character of Bart is, how he should be respected at all times in this film, how in every scene he should be the smartest person in the room, right? And how, despite how this movie plays with race and deals with it head on, it still deals with it with its eyes wide open, full frontal, not making any excuses for anything. No one is demeaned because of their race. It's a component of the comedy as opposed to being the full fulcrum of the comedy. And that is the smartness that I feel that Richard Pryor, and I'll give it to Mel Brooks as well, coming from that Jewish aesthetic as you you bring up, impart until this basically cartoon. And it is a cartoon because the movie, like you said, is short. The scenes are pretty much just scenes that cut away with fade outs, a la the greatest cartoon, Warner Brothers cartoons, because we're now moving to another setup, and when you watch it from that point of view, you watch it as a Warner Brothers cartoon that is just made for adults that can handle the language, that can handle some of the overt sexuality, sexual jokes that are in this movie that can deal with some of the racial aspects of this movie. And let's be clear, all things that are evident in all of the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yes.
Because those were done for adults as well.
Bunga, 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 bunga.
You know, but this is just live action. When you can deal with it, you sit and you embrace, my God, this is a crazy, funny movie. Now, have I in recent years, and I say recent years, probably over the last 10 years, watched this with an audience where maybe it came across as a little dated to some of them? Yes. Did I come watch it with an audience that now, the 21st century, has a little bit more sensitive ears to certain language, especially language coming from certain faces of certain colors?
Yes.
And they like, ugh. Yes, I have. So is this a movie that I think that could be made today as it was then? No, it could not. I think it's a movie that could be made, but you'd have to make some changes. But as it was, no. But that does not negate the smartness of the movie. That does not negate its being drop dead funny. You know, and it's funny. It as funny as it is. You know, there's a moment in your life. That's how smart this movie is. There's a moment in your life where, like you said, for your father, the fart scene in this movie, is one of the funniest scenes on Earth.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But then as you move along in your maturity, and you really understand the jokes that are happening between Madeline Kahn and Bart.
Yes.
And they hit in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And you then to that final scene of they're breaking the fourth wall all throughout the movie, but now they're breaking the fourth, the third, and the second wall at the movie theater. And you're seeing all of that play out.
Yeah, and they're actually going back and forth.
Right. You know, then you realize, oh, wait a minute. This is on a whole nother level.
Right, like you're halfway watching The Matrix.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a movie that like still rewards. It still cracks me up in all the right spaces, all the different, like, to me, if I think of the funniest scene, I still think the funniest scene is when Bart rides into town and sees the townsfolk's, like, you know, just reaction to him, and then pretends to take himself hostage.
Yeah.
He's like, help. He wanted, be quiet, nigga. I was like, oh my God. And I was talking to Mo earlier. Richard Pryor wrote this, and Mel Brooks, you know, his first choice was for Richard Pryor to play this role.
He was supposed to play it.
I could not see Richard Pryor playing this role because as good as Richard Pryor is, Cleavon Little is a better actor.
Yes.
And what he is smartly doing in this movie for his role, he's playing it straight.
Right.
You know, he's being funny, but he's still it's Bart being funny. It's not Cleavon Little mugging for the camera. And I think that Richard Pryor would have leaned a little bit more into that.
Well, to speak to that, I do think one of the things that makes Bart such a great character is, again, to your point, when that scene ends and he takes himself hostage and escapes, and he says, basically, you know, oh, he congratulates himself on being so talented, but then he says, and they're so dumb. Like, Bart is so much smarter. And again, it's the Bugs Bunny thing. Not only are you smarter than everybody else, you're so much smarter.
You're so many steps ahead of them.
That there's this distant coolness that you have. Like, you have this coolness about you. And I think Cleavon Little, as funny as he is, to your point about him being a good actor, he has a hint of Sidney Poitier to him. Mm-hmm. Like I really, like, I don't sweat. My clothes are always perfectly in place. I don't have to get but so excited. Like there's a wonderful moment.
Said Sidney Poitier, but you actually name check who he's closer to, Calvin Lockhart.
Calvin Lockhart. Like there's a wonderful moment in the beginning. And, you know, speaking of Sidney Poitier, I feel like this film has a lot in common with something like Buck in The Preacher, because I think it very overtly critiques the sort of mythology of the Western film.
Yeah.
But there's a moment in the beginning where you know, they have the racist workmen and they're talking to the black characters and they're saying, sing us one of them songs. Sing us one of them songs, you know, trying to humiliate them and make them sing, you know. And Cleavon Little, because he's so cosmopolitan, because he's so urbane, starts singing I Get a Kick Out of You.
I get a kick from champagne.
And it's played for laughs, but he's so cool.
Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all.
And the film smartly shows that these white racists don't like that. Like, no, we want you to humiliate yourself. And then you get that wonderful Bugs Bunny type reversal. I don't know what you mean. And you're like this. And then, of course, they start cutting up
Cat Town Lady
to the way they wanted him to. But again and again, you see that. And to your point, I don't know if Richard Pryor
pulls that off.
could have had that distant coolness.
Yeah.
Which also, and we'll talk about this in a few weeks when we talk about Bustin' Loose, I think that plays so
I
wonderfully.
think you mean stir crazy.
I'm sorry, Stir Crazy. That plays so wonderfully against Gene Wilder. Like, I think what I enjoyed the most today was just the scenes with Cleavon Little and Gene Wilder, where you know, most of them, they're just kind of talking. They're kind of talking, like you have these two wonderful intellects kind of talking back and forth, you know, culminating in the scene that everyone talks about, where Gene Wilder is talking about the townspeople being racist and saying that they're, you know, the salt of the earth and you know, the face of the new West. And then you get that wonderful beat and he says, you know, morons. And Cleavon Little actually laughs.
Yes.
Because you get the sense that these two men actually like each other. Like
I would have loved if they did more movies. There's a what if.
I
There's
love
a what if.
I love Gene Wilder so much. And you know, to the first thing I said, I don't think it's a coincidence that my two favorite Mel Brooks movies have Gene Wilder in them. Because he's just such a great.
And the other great Gene Mel Brooks movie has him in it.
Well, yeah, Young Frankenstein. That's what I was saying.
Well, I was thinking the other one besides Young Frankenstein is The Producers.
The Producers, right? Yeah, yeah. Just so, yeah. I hear you, and I don't know. I don't know what happened with Cleavon Little. I was talking about you out of school. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said about you. Wendy asked me, "How come Cleavon Little didn't work more?" And I have to say, I had forgotten that he worked periodically throughout the 80s. Like, I think I thought he had died. And then when I was looking at his IMDb, I was like, oh, right, he wasn't like Once Bitten.
Yeah.
Like, he was around. And I was like, I don't know why he didn't work for it. And I said, you know what? This sounds like something Lynn would know. I'm gonna ask Lynn.
I feel like I looked it up and it's left my brain.
I don't know why
I can look it up.
he didn't work more.
I don't know. Or maybe he just got lost in
Like, it looks like he went on the stage after this.
which makes sense.
Like, because this is after Temperatures Rising. And then,
Which, to be fair, ran for like off and on 3 seasons.
right.
And he was the star of that.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, he was doing some work. Maybe he got unfortunately, sometimes I would not be surprised. He gets locked into Temperatures Rising. They're trying to make a go of that. Right? And in trying to make that go, you miss your window.
Yeah, but after this, like, even the reviews at the time that, you know, some of them were kind of mixed, everyone talks about how good he was.
Yeah, I know, but
Like, I don't know why he didn't work more.
I don't know. Like they say in here, he won a Primetime Emmy in 1989 for a role on Dear John, but I don't see why after 74 he returns to the stage, and
He was in Pearly.
he's doing Pearly.
He was in Pearly. He's great in Pearly.
and then he made a bunch of guest appearances on TV shows, but yeah, it doesn't really get into. He does some movies. He's got a supporting role in Grease Lightning.
Yeah. And like I said, he's in Once Bitten.
And then he just gets into bad movies. In 78, he's in FM. 79, Scavenger Hunt, which I think was one of those trying to be like, madcap movies. The Salamander in 81, Hybrid. He just
I've never even heard of these movies.
he makes some bad choices.
What year is Once Bitten?
Once Bitten that's not till 1985. That's 10 years later. So, and then he's in Fletch Lives in 1989. I mean, so he hitched his wagon to Chevy Chase.
That Fletch train.
So
How you feel about Fletch? I feel like we've talked about Fletch. You don't like Fletch?
no, he actually at one time was going to star in a TV series called Mr. Duggan,
Yeah, I read about that.
where he played a black congressman, but that show was poorly received by the real black congressman and was canceled before making it to air.
Oh.
Ooh, wow. And then in 1991, he replaced, he was in the sitcom True Colors. And then, he just, it doesn't say. It's not saying that he had any type of issues. It just, I don't know, it didn't work out.
Well, it's a shame.
It is a shame.
Because this is iconic. This is iconic. Like this is this is a depiction that shows up, and back to it.
Like he dies in 1992, so
Right.
he's young.
But and back to what I was just saying about Buck and the Preacher. Like I love how the film starts with Asians and newly freed black people working on the railroad. Like the fact that they even acknowledge that it wasn't just white guys running around in this. I thought was so smart.
Yeah.
So
would you recommend that people see Blazing Saddles?
oh, come on. Look. I think you should watch. I mean, so many different ways to recommend this. Like I think it is a great example of a black film from the 70s. Again, you cross-reference it with Bushrod and Thomasine and Buck and the Preacher and the Nigga Charlie movies and, just these depictions of black cowboys in the, kind of informed by the 70s. I think you should watch Mel Brooks movies. Like just generally, you should watch Mel Brooks movies. It's a wonderful showcase for someone like Harvey Korman that I have to say off the top of my head, I can't think of another showcase of him as a comedic actor outside
Of Carol Burnett.
And, he popped up sometime. And even that, Mama's Family is part of under the Carol Burnett umbrella. So, this is when I started to love Madeline Kahn.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like this is the foundation of my Madeline Kahn love. And I kind of followed her wherever she went. Gene Wilder, again, one of my favorite performers of all time. Like I got my one little rant off talking about these legacy pieces. So something that has irritated the hell out of me since the Johnny Depp version, like people casting Willy Wonka and kind of making him twee and kind of a man-child completely misses the point. Like Willy Wonka is supposed to be a sociopath that you really shouldn't have your children around, and that's part of the tension. Like, he has this candy shop and children come around, but he's really a sociopath. That's Gene Wilder. Like, Gene Wilder kind of captures all of that. And as we just said, not enough Cleavon Little. Just generally.
In general.
Like, just generally. Like, if you like, just generally. And this is the great showcase for his talent.
Yes.
And it's just damn funny. So yeah, absolutely. Enthusiastically, I recommend this. Yeah. And yourself?
I would recommend Blazing Saddles. It is funny for all of those reasons that you pointed out. It definitely is the standout showcase for Cleavon Little. A great showcase for Gene Wilder. I think for maybe even a cooler side of Gene Wilder, because he tends to be like a little nebbishy in a lot of his other roles. But this one, he's kind of like he's cool, and I think that's also due to he wasn't the first choice for that role. You know,
I know. Talk about what ifs.
Yeah.
You know, John Wayne was up for that role for a second.
Well, they wanted John Wayne, but John Wayne said no.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, you know, get out of here, you guys. Like, you know, maybe he was being polite, but he said, you know, it's a little blue.
Yeah,
but
for his brand.
For my brand. But can you imagine John Wayne in this?
No, not at all.
I'm just saying for the meta commentary on the Western. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's definitely a showcase for Gene Wilder, Harvey Korman, Madeline Kahn. This is where I fell in love with Madeline Kahn as well. So I would definitely recommend Blazing Saddles. It's fun. There's a part of me that wants to recommend it full-throatedly, and I would if I didn't have an experience of watching it with a crowd that felt like it was maybe a little dated. So
dated because of the transgressive language, or dated because of something else?
I think the transgressive. I think mostly the language and some of the humor.
Look,
yeah, I think it was they felt it wasn't pleasing for them. You know, it's got and that experience makes me want to. While I want to recommend a film, I almost want to recommend it for you to watch with maybe just a select loved one or two. As opposed to like a big party.
Here's my pushback to that, because I was thinking about it in today. I think the language is intemperate. But even at the end, and I'm sure both of us are thinking about like the end where they have, you know, Dom DeLuise in a crew of very kind of comically effeminate gay men. I didn't think it was mean-spirited.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And for me, and I'm not gay, so that's the other thing. Like maybe I can't speak to, you know, if I were gay, maybe I might feel differently. But I am black, and certainly there's intemperate language about black people. I just feel like it's never mean.
No.
And the people who use this language are always shown to be terrible people.
Or
buffoons.
No, I agree.
I
agree. So, but that's why I think that I recognize that in that audience that I saw it.
Right.
And mind you, probably 80 to 90% of that audience, this was their first time seeing the film.
Right.
So you're just hearing these words.
Right.
And it was at a party. It wasn't I'll be honest, it wasn't the greatest setting to be showing this film.
Sure.
So I don't know how much they were like in the bag for it. But it just rang a little weird to them.
Look.
Like, I think if you were going to show it in a theater, one, you're going to advertise it, and you're going to get people that are already in, like, they're in on the joke. They're in for it. But I think outside of that setting, I would recommend it for you to just kind of like watch on your own with maybe one or two loved ones and enjoy it. And if you have the conversation about it, you're having the conversation about it. But maybe you can better appreciate it at that point. Nevertheless, I would definitely still recommend Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
I would. So hopefully, if you haven't checked out Blazing Saddles, you will check it out. And if you have seen it, watch it again because it continues to bring enjoyment.
Cracked me up this afternoon like I've never seen it before.
It was very good.
When he said, let me whip it out,
Ow!
I laughed like I had never heard it before.
Great movie. Great movie. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you to share your thoughts, your opinions. You can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com, MICHEAUX, MISSION @gmail.com. You can also like and follow the Micheaux Mission on all the social medias of your choice. That would be Instagram and that would be Facebook, where in the Facebook group, Miss Makiba and friends are having a good time talking about all the stuff that is happening on the show. I should announce that the Micheaux Mission is no longer on X. We are no longer on X because we're not. So, and we're not upset about it at all. At all. But you can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. And soon you'll be able to find us on Threads. Because we've got a whole bunch of people that want to talk to us on Threads, apparently.
Sure.
So we'll be on Threads
We're
in
around.
the next couple of days.
We in these streets.
There you go. We're also in these YouTube streets, most definitely, where you can hit that bell, subscribe, and be notified of when we go live every Tuesday and when we put up our new videos up on YouTube. The show streams live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. You want to book yourself in one of the lovely studios that they have here, and Maurice can attest, they have lovely studios. He took a tour all over. He saw all the Dylans popping over. He's like, there's 1,001 Dylans in this place, but there's only one Dylan Prime. That's our Dylan Prime, and that's who you have to get in contact to book your time here at Young Junk at Dylan@youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com.
It's not like some evil lady that's going to make a coat out of Dylan skins, is it? You ever think about like you took that's an actual plot of an actual film that they showed to actual children? She wanted to murder all of the puppies, skin them, and make a coat.
Yes.
And they've remade that film like 3 times.
Yes. That is Dylan's other favorite animated favorite.
What is wrong with us as a people?
What is wrong with Dylan? That's my question. That's my question. That and coonskin. He can't get enough. Anyway, show.
That's a whole nother conversation. Coonskin is a whole nother conversation. Have we done coonskin?
Yes, we've
Yeah,
done
we did coonskin.
We did
Oh boy, coonskin. Yeah.
Maybe mirror Dylan like coonskin. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of the Podglomerate podcast network. The Podglomerate, they make podcasts work such as ours, which will be returning next week with Vincent's other selection for December. He has been talking about it, and we are going to be reviewing it.
Yeah.
You saw Gene Wilder. He's coming back, and this time Richard Pryor is before the camera as we review 1980s Stir Crazy next week here on the Micheaux Mission.
Yeah.
Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, that's Mo, that's Dylan, and in parting we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.